surface. While most drivers might think these tags are used to indicate lane markings or separate lanes, different colored markers mean different things. White ones are the markers that we mainly see, but blue is a seldom color that we don't see as often. So what does it mean? Blue markers are placed in the center of the road to mark the location of fire hydrants on the sidewalk. This makes it easier for firefighters to identify where a fire hydrant is placed rather than wandering all over the road. Number 11. The blue side of an eraser. Do you remember back in grade school when you owned an eraser and one side was blue and the other was red? Most teachers told us that the blue side's purpose was to erase pen markings, but when most of us tried it and it didn't work, it left most of us frustrated. The blue side of the eraser is actually meant to erase pencil writings on hard surfaces like wood, while the red side's purpose was to erase pencil markings on soft surfaces like paper. Now that you've got it straightened out, you can teach your kids the difference so they don't make the same mistakes. Number 10. Plastic lid disc. Most people hardly pay any attention to plastic bottles, let alone the lid, but if you take the top off the bottle and look inside it, you'll find either a white or blue plastic disc inside the cap. If you're careful, you can safely remove it from underneath the cap. As hard as it is to believe, this little plastic disc actually has an important job. It is a pressure seal, the soft plastic liner that acts like a membrane. Faced with pressure from the lid, it is a gas-proof barrier that keeps your soda and fizzy drinks bubbly and fresh. Also found under the cap of a microbrew, it is known as an oxygen scrubber because it absorbs the oxygen so it doesn't affect the taste of beer or alcoholic beverages. Number 9. Metal strips on gas pumps. If you've ever pumped gas, you'll notice metal pieces at the top of the pump. If you thought that feature was to keep the gas secure while pumping it through the hose, well, think again. If you didn't know, these metal strips are actually detachable, and for a good reason. For those of you in a rush and are quick to drive away, the metal strip detaches from the gas pump in a safe way to make sure that you don't damage the pump. Instead, you're just left with the hose still lodged inside your car for everyone to see while you drive away. Number 8. Hole in spaghetti spoon. Every spaghetti ladle has a hole in the bottom. Most people might think that the hole exists because it helps drain out the water after you're done boiling the noodles. And while that may be true, it actually serves an entirely different reason. The hole is there because it is meant to measure an equal amount of spaghetti for one serving. This comes in handy when cooking for a family dinner or when you're rationing out the noodles. Instead of just throwing a bunch of noodles into a pot and hoping that you'll have enough, you can use this measuring feature to ensure an equal amount of noodles to sauce ratio. Number 7. Tire tread bumps. Also known as tread wear indicators, it might look like a manufacturing defect, but they are designed to mark the minimum safe tread height of your car's tire. Check your tires to see if you have enough tread to cruise safely down the road. In the United States, if your tires don't meet the tread standards, or if they look extremely worn down, it could land you in some trouble. A tire's tread wears away over time, so be sure to replace them yearly. If your tire treads are worn out, you have less traction to grip on the road and it might be too slippery or hard for you to stop on wet or icy roads. Number 6. Door handles. Surely you must be scratching your head and probably think we all know what door handles are for. They're for opening doors. Yeah, but did you ever wonder why most household door handles are brass or copper? Brass and copper serve a greater purpose than you think. They contain antimicrobial properties, meaning that it'll disinfect itself. Lab test shows that metals can get rid of 99% of germs left behind on the handle within an hour. It can also kill off deadly viruses such as the flu and E. coli. This is kind of cool to know, especially if you're a neat freak or a germaphobe. Number 5. Beer bottle neck. Many people oversee beer bottles, but the beer bottle neck isn't designed for a sleek look, but it actually serves an important purpose. It was designed this way for people to hold. By holding the beer bottle neck, it eliminates the warmth transferred from your hand to the bottle. Holding a beer bottle at the end can insulate your beer, leaving it flat within a short time. Holding it at the neck ensures that it will stay cold and allows you to enjoy your alcoholic beverage. Number 4. Hole in lollipop stick. When you finish eating your favorite lollipop, you might notice a little square hole at the edge of a lollipop stick. And while it may seem pointless, it's actually there for a good reason. It's there so a small amount of candy can melt and seep through the hole. This helps with the little friction between the candy and the stick. It acts as a hook and stays in place so the lollipop doesn't fall off while you're eating it. Some people have argued that the hole is there for a safety feature. Just in case you accidentally swallow it, the hole allows you to breathe. While this claim isn't entirely wrong, it's still good to know. Number 3. Utility blade end. If you own a utility knife, then you know the hassle of having to snap off a used blade. But whether you're wearing gloves or using pliers to break off an old blade, it can be scary when trying to do because there is the risk of cutting yourself. However, most people don't know there is a safer alternative to breaking off the blade without touching it at all. It's located in the slot at the back. First, slide back the blades to be safe, then you can pop off the end. Make sure you correctly set the edge so there is only one line showing and lock it in. Afterward, you can place the blade onto the back of the cap and break it off. Number 2. Metal plate inside a stapler. For most people, stapling papers is something that you don't have to think twice about, but surprisingly, there are 2 different ways to staple papers that make it much easier to remove a staple instead of just ripping your papers apart. The first way most people are used to stapling papers is with the staples facing in to ensure the papers don't fall apart. But if you look at the metal plate or anvil of the stapler that contains 2 sets of holes, then you can change the setting on your stapler by turning it around. Then when you staple, it'll bend the staples outwards, making it easier to pull apart the staples when you want to release your papers. Number 1. Toothpaste colored squares. Many people believe the toothpaste squares at the back of the tube are a colored code to indicate chemical components. Like if it is green, it must be made from natural ingredients, or if it's black, it contains mostly chemicals, and if it is blue, then it has medicinal properties as well as natural ingredients. However, this is untrue, and if you didn't know what it meant before, these colored marks or eye marks are part of the